it's another video, and this time is finally heading in a direction for the intake system feed in the rally car. Finally, I thought I was gonna head in the direction, and I don't know if you can see it all the way there, and do an aluminum cone intake and make it out of aluminum, but unsuccessful. Unsuccessful. And I don't know why I decided to make it out of aluminum instead of a plastic or carbonate. No, whatever, a plastic aspect or plastic material instead of using aluminum. I don't know why I decided that instead, but I just got a plastic welder from Harbor Freight today. You know, you can think whatever you want about that, you know, as you please. Frankly, I don't care. But the goal is today, at least, because I got the cone part cut out in a plastic. I just need to basically weld the seam and get that far, and then probably make the, I guess what you would call the flange, the mounting spot, get that cut out and as well welded on there. Then after that, start working on the actual feed. Oh, I can't remember. Last video, I think it was bending the skid plate. Yeah, the skid plate is currently a table for a lot. I finally got the Yes welder. I think I'll do a different video on the welder. We'll just leave it to the intake, because I'll start going in way too many directions instead of the goal direction. But the goal is to start heading in the direction to make this a functional hood scoop. I got the actual this is part of it. So basically what's right here is what's gonna be reused, which is basically most of it. The only part that's not being reused is I can't tell what kind of plastic this is. I don't know. Now I just may have okay. Yeah. 1 second. Okay. Didn't take long for me to get back. But I don't know why I was thinking I have to completely start over. But again, this depends on what the difference in this plastic is that came on the original intake. First, this, I can't remember what type of plastic this is. This is kind of softer. This is quite hard. If you can hear that noise versus, I don't know if you can hear the difference, and you know, this is a lot more flexible plastic versus this. I think these are basically, yeah, these are very close to the same thickness, but this is a much harder plastic than this. So the only thing why I'm being hesitant is basically, again, I'm just winging this right now. This just popped in my head. I don't know why. It probably popped in my head a while ago, but I was deciding it was probably because I was deciding to go aluminum, so it was irrelevant at the time, but now I'm going plastic instead of aluminum because this is version 1. You know, yeah, I'm gonna have to see how this, you know, the plastic welding part of it, the fab, the bonding part, I should say, it's more of a bonding, how that goes, the difference in, because this is all the plastic type that I have on me, that I have currently right now. So through the process, I'm gonna have to figure out if basically if things can work nicely together. I think that's the biggest challenge. But I've went ahead early and created the actual scoop part that goes like so up here at a cardboard, a little different, a lot thicker, so kind of things are kind of a little out of whack in an aspect. The goal is to make this functional, as you can see, functional, and have it as obviously have one part sitting on there. I kind of did measurements already when I was building the cardboard version of it. And kind of clearances, making sure kind of basically things will clear is kind of one of the bigger problems. So what I am thinking, so basically the plan is, as you know, up in here you'll have a section that juts down a little bit, and then that kind of has a feed, and as you shut the hood, that feed on this side where it attaches to the scoop will, you know, fit in the tube that runs, you know, in this area. I exactly spot, I'm not sure, that feeds into the intake, and as you sit it down, you want that feed sitting inside instead of outside, because you're going to lose air if you have the feed of it sit on the outside of the part on the cone going to the filter, because you're losing air on the outside. This is kind of common sense, but I'm just saying, is in this aspect you would rather have where the feed comes in with the air sit inside the tube, so the air is going in instead of you got gaps where it's going out. But let me show you concept of the idea I was going with on this design. Is basically the whole goal is, you know, direct the air, because this is made out of rectangle, square, and you try to hit a wall. You know, if you think about it, trying to hit a straight wall with, you know, if you think about it, if you've ever, like, I don't know, randomly sprayed like water against a wall or something, you know, whatever type of wall you're saying, like either on your car, like a flat spot on your car, you know, cleaning your car, whatever you're doing, versus, you know, like a straight on, you're hitting the wall, versus, you know, you change the direction of how you're spraying, and it's more of a smooth flow, basically. So you change the direction however that is, and it's a lot smoother at an angle versus a straight, flat, pretty much punching straight. Because basically, characteristics of air and water are very similar in the aspect they have the ability to flow. So, you know, if you think in that aspect of how water would flow against different surfaces, it'll be very similar to air. So you got to think in that certain situation. So if these fins that I put in here were not there, I would be hitting basically that back wall, and really not a lot will be going down this funnel to the intake filter element. So, excuse me, the goal of these is to direct the air and, you know, as smoothly as I could, and move, or not move, but direct the air as the car's moving in the direction of that instead of forcing it. Because, you know, you start to make a element work harder, it's going to heat up and it's not going to be as efficient. So that kind of defeats the point of the shoving air into the intake extrally as the car's moving. It kind of heats the air. You know, if you understand physics and kind of how things work, you start making something work harder, it heats up. Just like as in the aspect of, you know, if you're at a still, nice and calm and whatnot, and you go and start working out or warming up to work out, you get hotter, right? And your body starts to work harder, your heart, you know, everything, because you're trying to do physical activity rather than, you know, if you're just walking around doing nothing, sitting, doing nothing, basically, you're not working hard, you're not as hot. You know, unless you're in probably a desert, then that relatively doesn't matter. It's hot anyways. But that's not the point. You know, whatever, everything I've just said is the point, is try to smoothly make things easier. So direct the air in a as smooth as possible aspect, so it's not being worked as hard, it doesn't heat up. Because the more dense air you can push into something, the more power you make. I'm not saying this is going to make so much more power, but I'm trying to get as much air, dense air, at least into the filter element as I can, rather than the only one spot I have is, you probably can't see it, but it's down in here. And you can see the scoop, the tube that runs down here that goes into the grill. That's really the only other spot besides whatever air is in the atmosphere somehow making it the way. So I have rambled for a long time, but hopefully I wasn't talking too fast. But, you know, if you're understanding the point I'm making, and understand the physics and science and whatnot behind it, it's, you know, again, the best way to do it is rather do a tube instead of a box. But again, this is clearance, and this is version 1. Remember, this is version 1. This is me doing it on my own. This is basic. I have a lot of things to learn. I would really love to do this in a tube, and, you know, the goal is that'll happen, hopefully one day. And realistically, I would rather do this out of 3D printing, and kind of get things dialed in instead of me farting around, you know, doing what I'm doing. You know, just doing it cheaply, basically. You know, but again, you know, I'm working with what I have. So, you know, the goal is, you know, or how do I put it? You know, I am trying to be as efficient as I can with what I have, the best I can. So this is, you know, the best I got, and, you know, hopefully it's going to work. So, I am going to see how things kind of work with the intake. I'm just gonna play around with some plastic and that cone, and if things kind of work nicely, I'm gonna use it. If not, I'm just gonna weld up that cone that's already cut out, and I'll be back with you in a second. Okay, progress report is I've gotten the sides done and the bottom done. I just gotta do the edge right there. But I didn't film a lot because I wasn't gonna sure how it was gonna go. It was kind of the first time using this, you know, kind of basic concept, you know, you're basically melting it and bonding it together, but I wasn't sure how it was going to act, so I didn't really film a lot. I'll film some more tomorrow, but basically my goal is, by the time get back with you, is going to get to this point. I'm going to show you how it looks, and then I'm going to throw the top on. And then gonna start working on bonding kind of a concept onto here to figure out how I want to do it. And okay, that's getting bad. Probably do something out of cardboard, definitely first. Yeah, basically get the intake back in its orientation it's supposed to be, and then kind of make some stuff out of cardboard, super glue it to it, kind of trace, you know, the spot for the hole to make in the cone piece over there that I've been showing you. I mean, I gotta get bolted back onto that, and then kind of do what I just did in the same concept there, and get to that spot, and then basically the next part is to do the, you know, after I get there is, you know, to get to the other half where it, you know, fits in to the tube coming up from the cone, the intake cone, and again, go from there step by step, you know, make a template out of cardboard, easy cuttable, whatever you want to call it, make something work, and then go from there. Wow, I'm tired. I haven't done a whole lot today, but you know when you're beat. But yeah, okay. See you tomorrow. This thing does not look pretty whatsoever, but what I added was a little flap. You can see because there was such a gap, you know, difference. I added a bend as well to start jutting down. And the goal for right now is get this taped up, shut the hood, and get a rough spot on where kind of this lands in the engine bay. And then after that, I can start working on the cardboard mock-up version that'll go on the actual cone part, because basically this guy is in an aspect done. The shape is done. It's just kind of the mounting of how it mounts on there, attaches, is really it. But for right now, I'm just going to use tape. But other than that, I'm going to get back to you in a second. Okay, it's been a while. What the hell was that? Okay. It's been a while. A while as in hours, not days this time. But I've gotten, I don't want to move it too much because it's in the exact orientation I kind of want it taped together. But I've kind of made progress. I've got things lined up, dimensions in the spot. Now I'm at the part where I really want to make sure I get this right to attach from here to the pipe. And as soon as I get there, in reality, that's, you know, it should be all downhill is kind of a bad word. Smooth sailing, that's a little better. Downhill is kind of, things have gone to, downhill real quick. But I've roughly got, you know, it's taped, it's solid, and it's not moving from where it was. I carefully got it out of there, you know, to compensate if I did screw up a little bit. I'll kind of make a, what do you want to call it? Funneling type of action. Oh, right here it is. Like this. But obviously rectangular in the dimensions. So, feather, like basically fan it out, I guess. So it, yeah. Basically in that concept, fan it out, do nothing, you know, because I don't have crap loads of money where I could like people go out and, you know, scan like the entire car and all this crap, and then kind of exactly put it in exact spots. But you know, I got the thing taped up in there. You know, that piece is basically done, besides mounting, I think, like I said before. But what I'm gonna do is thinking I'm gonna get back to this. I don't know if I want to make two-part video with this right back to back, because it seems like this video is getting long. But no, I'm gonna decide. Yeah, two-parter, back-to-back videos. They'll most likely be out at the same time. You know, I got to do a lot of thinking. I got to get you know, this going and do a lot of thinking and measurements and make sure it's right in the right spot. By the start of part 2 video, we, you know, all of this, will be back, basically when I want to say, basically when, this cardboard is done is when the start of part 2 will be. So, Wait for part 2 and see ya in a minute.